And then if I pull that up so you can see what our plan is, and I think before everyone gets in the room, I'll just review this. We're going to open up the meeting, and normally we would have introductions and go around the room and say who's here and everything. We're going to save that for the breakout sessions. And it turned out we had, quite a few people, at least more than I anticipated. And in order for everyone to talk, we're going to have breakout sessions. And so we'll just start with the news, then we'll be going into breakout rooms, then we will return. And I have times down here, but we'll between now and 7:15, we'll be covering the news and a few general things. Then we go into breakout rooms, and there will be 4 different choices to go to, and it's up to you whichever one you want to go to. And we have moderators for each of the rooms, and then we'll let that go for about 30 minutes and then come back into the room, and we will discuss what each room talked about. We'll spend 10 minutes doing that. And then at the very end, the last 5 minutes, we'll talk about issues that we need to further explore, maybe with a follow-up forum or personal assistance, and ways that I as an administrator or others can help you. So that is the general plan, and I'm going to stop sharing. And I want to say welcome to everybody that's here, and I expect we'll have a few people join us as we go along. I've learned that 60 minutes on a Zoom call just will fly by if we don't just sort of stick to the agenda. So that's my plan. Anybody have any connection problems or any sort of things that we need to address? Make sure you can hear me and everything.
Yeah, I'm here, but I don't see that I'm here. Carolyn Law, do you see me?
Okay.
I don't see you.
I didn't think so, because I can't seem to see it. I don't know, but I see everybody else, so we're okay.
And those of you that have Jim Dane as your name, if you go on your square and click on the 3 dots, you can change your name, or maybe left click on the 3 dots. Somehow,
Double tap.
I think there's a way to change your name that way. So Tammy, I clicked on the 3 dots and I don't see the name change thing. But
It
maybe
says rename. It's the last option on there. You click on the 3 dots on your picture, and then it should pop up on the right. And then the bottom says rename.
okay. I'm not seeing that even anywhere, but yeah.
It's
So
only
maybe
on
on the
your
bottom,
picture.
yeah.
not
Your
someone-
picture.
Your picture.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm doing. It's not my picture, doggone it. Sorry about that.
And you have
Yes,
to
I see it. I
click
see
it.
it. I see it. Thank you. Yes. Go. So thank you, Tammy. And we have people from outside the district here that know a lot more than I know. So I very much appreciate that. But so to start in on the agenda, the first thing I have up there is on the news is the new club, and we have Missouri Valley, and maybe Minnie, you want to talk a little bit about what's happening in Missouri Valley? I know I caught you with a mouthful there. Sorry.
There's there.
Yeah, I'm eating popcorn from the Rialto Theater. Here we go. Sharon is my co-advisor, and our first inaugural meeting and charter meeting will be February 9th at 9:30 a.m. and Linda's coming with a cake. So that's going to be exciting. Everybody likes cake. And we're just going to go from there and see what happens. I have a very loose agenda, basically, explaining how a meeting works, trying to get them to elect officers and kind of get organized. And I think that's probably enough for 2nd through 5th grade to tackle in 1 hour. Talk about some ideas and things we can do and let it go from there.
Well, we are thrilled to have you on board. We have about 30 or 31 K-Kids clubs in Nebraska-Iowa, and about half of them are actively meeting now. I think several are restarting. Quite a few are shut down for COVID, but where we have active clubs. We're just thrilled to have them, and we're very glad to have a new club. We also have a new club that is going to start. I think they're going to be a builders club in Ogallala, Big Mac, and they're the only club in Nebraska-Iowa that's in the Mountain Time Zone. But you know, we're just thrilled to have them starting up. And then earlier this year in September, or maybe it was October, we started a new builders club at West Branch Middle School. And the principal of West Branch Middle School, who's brand new this year, said she wanted to join Kiwanis. So we were thrilled to have her join us. So we're growing, and I'm very glad to share that. The next thing on the list I wanted to share as news is the LaRue grants, and this is for those clubs in Nebraska, Iowa. And this is James LaRue was a past district governor of Nebraska, Iowa back in the late 80s, early 90s. And when he passed, he left some money that was given to the district, and the district formed a committee, and we decided that those clubs should be, that money should be used to promote SLPs. And we're very thrilled that we have 10 service leadership program grants, actually 10 grants, $100 grants, both for the K Kids and another 10 grant for Builders Club. And these are those clubs that are starting new, or if you have a project that involves your adult Kiwanis club with your SLP, or just some sort of innovative project, you can go to the Nebraska-Iowa website, click on the LaRue grant form. There's a separate tab for it, and apply for that. So that is out there. If you have any questions, you're certainly welcome to write me as the district administrator, and I can help get you squared away. The third thing on the news item is I wanted to bring up the awards and recognition program that is out there for K Kids, and I think I'll put it in the chat for everybody. And it's just on the website. There's quite a few of them. They're mostly at the end of the year, but we would like to encourage you to submit your club for these awards. I don't think they get a lot of submissions, so you know, if a few of us submitted ourselves, and I know sometimes we don't pat ourselves on the back enough, but it is sort of neat to be competitive for these awards, and they're given out every year, and we might as well take advantage of them. So I put that into the chat, that link. And if you have questions, you can certainly write me about it, but there are quite a few awards and recognition toward the end of the year. I'll flip to the next thing, which is K Kids Week and also Builders Club Week. And that K Kids Week is the February, it's always the third full week of February. And since the third full week starts on the 21st, it is February 21st through the 25th. I know my K Kids Club makes a big deal about it. Not every club does, but in my club, we have our K Kids, we have 5 committees, and we give each committee one of the days of the week to plan out the activities for that day. Kiwanis International, the K Kids division, has each day has a little icon that you can copy and use in your materials to promote K Kids Week. But one is Random Act of Kindness Day. There's Kiwanis Family Day. There's just all sorts of different ways that you can celebrate K Kids Week. So be sure to check that out. And it's not etched in stone. It is February 21st to the 25th. But if you want to celebrate K Kids Week in March or in November or some other time, we would love to hear about it. So I'll just throw that out there. For Kiwanis International, they generally celebrate it that third full week of February. And so the final thing I wanted to talk about in our news is the joint SLP adult club activities. We're going to make some of those LaRue grants available for clubs that are doing some unique activities that involve some expense. And so you're certainly welcome to do that. But very important about the doing things with the adults and the kids is youth protection. And I invited Linda Plasek, our youth protection district chair, to come to the meeting. And I thought I'd give her a couple minutes just to share a few things about youth protection since it's so important. So Linda, can I turn it over to you?
You sure can.
Okay, there you go.
All right. First of all, I want to thank all of you who serve as advisors to our SLP groups. We know we've taken a hit with the COVID shutdowns, but getting those clubs back up and active is really important. And our kids really need it. Our kids really need it. Talking about background checks, I also want to say thank you to all of you advisors to the SLPs for keeping your background check up to date. KI does a nice job of notifying us via email when it's time to renew, and it comes around every couple of years that you get that notification. Still costs $25, but we have very few people that we have to put a little pressure on, or KI will put a little pressure on to say, if you don't get this done, you can't be an advisor anymore. So thank you, because we have a very high compliance rate, and I really appreciate that. And the other thing I want to say is, when we're working with kids, as adults, we need to use common sense. As I always say, with youth protection, when we protect the kids, we protect ourselves, our clubs, and the good name of Kiwanis. And by that I mean being smart up front. Going to that youth protection website, guidelines website that KI has. If you just Google youth protection guidelines, it'll come right up with K for Kiwanis. And being familiar with what the policies are. And specifically, I just want to mention a few things that I see sometimes come up as questions. Be smart. Do not use a kid's restroom. If you're working in a school, if you're working at Boys and Girls Club, don't find yourself in the kids' restroom. Use the adult facilities. Another thing is that thing about transportation. You don't want to be one-on-one with the child in the car. So as real life happens, sometimes our meetings come to an end with the kids, and it's after school, and the parent doesn't show up to pick up the child. And you are left there with this child, and hopefully you have a school person or a person from the organization who's there with you. And please don't volunteer and say, well, I can just drop him off, or I can just drop her off. That would be something that a school person might want to take the liability for, and certainly would be appreciated, I know, by the child and the parent. But don't put yourself in that position of stepping up to take a child in your car by yourself, like on the way home. There's other situations you want other people in the car and that kind of thing. But I just urge you, know what the policy is, be smart about using common sense. And another thing that's come up is advisors, an advisor being by themselves with the kids. You don't want to be in that position. I know I don't want to be in the room with these 15 or 18 children and not have another adult with me. And in particular, I work in a school, and I'm guessing a lot of you do too. There should be a staff member who is assigned to work with K kids, and you want that person with you for a whole lot of reasons, but they're a great resource to have there. They can help you out in so many situations. If it's someone who works at the school, they know the kids. And so if someone needs assistance, if someone needs a little behavior reminder, whatever it might be, utilize that person, but don't put yourself in a situation where it's just you and 8 or 9 kids. And I want to remind you that that policy from KI talks about chaperone. We always want to chaperone definitely when we have 10 kids or more. If we have more than 10, of course, we always want 2 and so forth. For every 10, we want a chaperone. But I think with K kids as well as your Builders Club, you definitely want another adult with you. And hopefully it's someone from the school. I just want to wrap up and say, you're all doing a great job, because if you weren't, I'd be getting calls and emails about complaints and concerns, and I haven't. So thank you for all you're doing and using that common sense to protect yourself while you're protecting those children and youth as well. And if you ever have a question, I'm in the directory for the district. So don't hesitate to call me or email me, and I'd be glad to help you out with the situation. It's always better to be proactive. So if you see something coming up and you have a question, don't hesitate to ask about it. Don't wait till it happens and then say, whoops, we did that not too well, and now XYZ is happening. So be proactive, keep up the great work you're doing, and I appreciate being with you for these few minutes. As I told Jim, I can't stay for this whole meeting, but thanks for all you're doing. And thank you, Jim, for holding this gathering tonight.
Thank you, Linda. That's great points. And I know we have a wide variety of people that have been doing this for 15 years or better, but those that are brand new. And so they're good reminders, even if we've heard this before. So thank you again, Linda.
You're welcome. Did someone have a question? I heard someone say my name.
Yes, I do. Okay.
Okay.
It's Jody here. How
Hi,
are
Jody.
you, Linda? I have a question for you. We have a member of our club is our faculty advisor. She's also a teacher at the elementary building. She's on the call with us tonight. And then we need a club advisor as well. And so does that club advisor need to have a background check if they're going to be at the meetings with the kids? And I mean, we have an inner club with them all the time, but does the club advisor need a background check?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's what I needed to know.
Okay.
Thank you.
And regarding that question that your husband sent, KI is still working on the answer.
Okay. Okay.
They thought they'd have one for me today, but they don't have one yet. So.
Okay. Sounds good. All right.
All
That's
right.
all I needed to know. Thank you,
Thanks,
Linda.
Jody. You bet.
Okay, thanks everybody. We're going to move on to our breakout session. But before we do that, I want to introduce our 4 moderators. And we are fortunate to have several people from outside the district. And our first breakout room is all about COVID related. And that the moderator is going to be Jennifer Lewis. Jennifer, you want to wait? There she is. And she is from Ohio District and is, I think, advisor for a K-Kids Club and Kiwanis member. And also, she'll introduce herself in there. Well, go ahead, Jennifer. Say hello.
Hi, I'm got a meeting with you guys. Yeah, I am in Ohio, and I've been fortunate to be doing this role as administrator for 4 years or more. And every year I learn more. And I think these moments where we share are the best. So I appreciate you, Jim, for doing this, and thanks for inviting me.
Look forward to being part of your part. But also in room number 2 will be about club building, and that is Don Glenn. Don, you want to say hello?
Hello.
Okay.
For some reason I've gone back to a static picture, but I'm here.
Okay. Don's a former past governor and been an advisor to K-Kids, what, 9 years, something, 7, 8, 9 years, something like that.
Something like that.
All right. For service and fundraising ideas, Linda Henningson's going to run the program. She's a past district administrator for K-Kids, so she'll have lots of good ideas. And you want to say hi, Linda?
Hello, everyone. So glad to be with you this evening. Thanks for joining us.
And the 4th breakout group will be managing K-Kids, sharing ideas to facilitate meetings, projects, field trips, etc. And I will be moderating that. So I am going to turn it over to Lisa and our district administrator, and she can explain how we're going to get to these breakout rooms.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I have breakout rooms set up, the 4 breakout rooms that Jim explained. In a second here, I'm going to open those rooms and they're set up so you select which of the 4 rooms you want to go into. I know Jim had a little bit of a question as far as who was going where. If you find that your discussion, there's only a couple of you that enter the breakout room, your discussion gets done quick, you want to come back and join another room, just come back to the main room here and I will reassign you and put you into another breakout group. And so we'll try to do it that way as far as, so, you know, you leave the room, come back to the main room, and then I'll reassign you. Okay, here we go. I'm going to open the rooms and you should be able to pick which room you want to go into.
And we'll see you at quarter till.
Quarter till, Jim? All
Yeah,
right.
quarter till.
I'll give you a little heads up, 2 minutes ahead, and then come bring you back in a minute.
I have a question. Where are you seeing the room set?
Yeah.
Is
There's-
it somewhere like in the chat or?
No,
At the
there-
bottom,
yeah, it should
Oh,
pop
really?
up towards the bottom
I'm
of your
sorry.
screen. You
Thank
find
you.
it? Perfect.
Thank you.
I don't see any.
Oh, I saw it.
Usually it's towards the bottom of the screen, but depending if you're on a PC or a Mac, it might be in the upper portion.
You're on an iPad.
iPad, I'm not sure where it's gonna
I don't-
click. If you wait, let's see. If you give me your name, I can also assign you if you're not finding that spot.
I don't see anything. No.
Okay, let's see. Janelle, is that you that's saying that?
No, it's Carolyn.
Carolyn, okay. Okay, you're registered.
I'm not
as-
seeing it either, though.
You're
and I
seeing it
usually
as Jim Dane, Carolyn, correct?
Yeah.
Which room do you want to go into?
I think I'll go to D.
Okay, and that's managing K kids, correct?
Right.
Okay, I'm going to. Now I assigned you into that room. Did you see anything pop up now?
Yeah, I did. I'll push join.
Okay. Emily, are you having the same problem?
Yes. How about
Emily,
service
where would
and,
you like to go?
service and fundraising?
Okay, off you go.
There we go. Thanks.
Okay, Janelle?
I would like to go to room 3.
Okay, and that is service and fundraising, okay. Dale, where would you like to go? Your microphone's off.
Okay, I guess I don't really know.
Okay,
Uh,
your
Was the
choices
sec-
are COVID related, club building, service and fundraising, managing K kids, or just hang out with me. I don't know.
maybe that would be better, but let's do the building or the second one.
Okay, club building.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna assign you there.
Okay.
Now you see something pop up to accept? There you go. All right. We're going to pause the recording a minute. I should have done that before, but we're going to pause it and then we will come back for the wrap up.
The same room. This is the room that was meeting the managing K kids. Very good. Maybe the others are so busy in their room. I think we're in the same room. The time flew by, Lisa, and it just okay,
You knew it would, Jim. That's why I figured I'd better give you a 2-minute warning.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
that
you did.
it worked out well. And it looks like we're all back in the room, and I want to say thanks for all of you that are still here with us. What I want to do now is to go back, and I hope I meant to say this before you left, is to take a moment to introduce each other in the room so that you knew who was participating. We just probably don't have time to do all that in a big room. But what I'd like to do is go through the rooms and have the moderators sort of summarize what you discussed. And I think we'll start, I'll tell you what, I'll start with my room to sort of be the example and try to do it in about 2 minutes here. But there were about 7 of us that talked about managing K-Kids, and we found out that we have a variety of situations, from the school in Bellevue that cannot meet, and all of the service clubs are lumped into one group. They're called K-Kids, but they're all sorts of service clubs, and yet a Kiwanian's not able to meet with them. All they can do is hand over a few materials, maybe not even that much, and they're very frustrated and can't wait until we're out of COVID. To the other extreme, where we have clubs that are meeting very much, and we've heard from Bob Day in Lima, Ohio. Did I say that right? Hopefully. Yeah. And anyway, where they're part of 11 SLPs, and I don't know how regularly they meet, but they're not all K-Kids, but the presidents and officers of those clubs meet at a big meeting in which the district governor is invited. They're Don, and they have a very formal, not formal, but a very good meeting with a whole bunch of people, and they can see the whole Kiwanis family in action. And we had the whole range from Christy that was explaining at Nevada that she is dealing with, well, she had a neat idea. Their kids work on putting a smile on the face of different people in the school, and they have a little, I'm not sure, a piece of paper or a badge or something the kids will color, and they then make a point when they leave their meeting. They meet early in the morning, they go out and find somebody to put a smile on their face, which makes the kid happy. So we had lots of sorts of ideas about how to run K-Kids. We talked about leadership development. Some clubs had a vice president that learns all about what it is to be the president for a year before then they move up, like from a 3rd grader to 4th grader. To Gary Muckle, that has only 1 semester or maybe 8 meetings with a group of kids, and then they're all changed, and there hardly any time for a lot of leadership development, but they're learning. So that's in a nutshell what we discussed. I'll throw it out to my group. Anything I miss? I'm getting some thumbs up. So I'm going to turn it over to Jennifer. And can you explain what happened about managing COVID?
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Yep, I'm on. We only had 3 people, but it was great because we could all speak. And we have diverse clubs. One is a leadership focused group that's handpicked by the principal. And they also don't have the support of the parents, et cetera. So really, they are looking forward to this group. They were able to meet during COVID for a little bit with masks, but obviously Omicron, it had a bigger impact on students, so they're not meeting as much. They're fortunate to have Kiwanis advisors who are former educators who know how to supplement the materials that the K-Kids to Kiwanis provides. And I think we rely a lot on the faculty advisor, and when they're not available, as we found during COVID, if you're not already fully running it as a Kiwanian, you're behooved to get those faculty experienced Kiwanians involved to help with, as you know, with the children, as you mentioned, their structure in the classroom is different. But we all agreed to focus on the leadership aspect of it. The service learning is great, but the K-Kids offers the leadership part. So to try to facilitate that during COVID, we all agreed that meeting in person is irreplaceable. And unfortunately, the Zoom is a nice concept, but it wasn't feasible for many clubs for different reasons. Partly the permissions, the time of day to meet, the needs, the demands on the advisor, on the students, et cetera. So even though it worked for Action Club and Kiwanis, it didn't seem to work for K-Kids. I offered the video challenges to continue stuff to let the parents take it on at home if they're involved, but some of our group did not have that parent involvement. So they really wanted, so the club, I commend them, know the importance of this. And so they really fought through the pandemic to maintain this excellent model for teaching leadership skills. They also focused on the importance of showing how to run a meeting, which I think we all know is not obvious. And if you learn it sooner than later, it's better. So how selection of students is varied and the needs of the school are different, but COVID took a hit. And I think from my experience, we're gonna have to rebuild. When we get back, we're gonna basically have to go back to all this, assuming the children know nothing and the parents. And so we'll have to just try to rebuild that part. So is that good? Anyone else wanna add?
Thank you, Jennifer. I wanted to mention that you wrote an article about things to, how to involve kids during COVID. You want to explain just a little bit about that? We'll share it later.
Yeah, okay, so we were not allowed to meet. Our room was filled with the furniture that was used to give us social distancing. So we physically could not even meet if we wanted to. We have an older Kiwanis group too that we're not excited to get around children either. And the teacher also said, I do not have time. So we went to a new concept, which we would meet twice a month before, and now we had a new group. So the first year during COVID, they knew us. So they were our familiar faces. We did a video challenge. And so the teacher would present to the entire school, not just the K-Kids, this project. And then we would supplement it with some information that the Kiwanians would do. And we try to keep in line with the projects we had done before every month. And my goal this year was to get that K-Kid leadership group, more like one of my groups in the session had, where we selected leaders who would then take on the role we did, research, plan, market it, and lead the project. But we've been waiting, and the teacher said, I'm sorry, I don't have time. But if you want to read that project, it's got a bunch of nice activities you could do, and someone could do at home on their own. And yeah, I thought it worked really well, and I suggest it. And I also wanted to share, we have an idea for this month to do a cereal box domino challenge. March 7 is Cereal Day, National Cereal Day, and I think fun activities. Leadership is great, but with this age group, you want to keep it fun. And so they're looking forward to this new domino challenge where they can collect cereal boxes and see how long they can go in the school with it. And they've actually challenged the other SLP groups. So if you want, you got time to YouTube it and watch the videos.
That sounds wonderful. We'll but everybody in the school is bringing in cereal boxes, as I understand.
But well, hopefully, yeah, it's in the planning stage. We'll see how it goes.
Okay, March 7th. Sounds super. I did put the link to your article in the chat box, so people might want to click on that. Let's go to Don Glenn. And what you talked about club building.
Club building, and Dale was in the chat. He is trying to get a K-Kids started.
Okay.
We have everything from that to Kenneth, who was in the chat room, that has 7 K-Kids.
Whoa.
7, guys. We're proud of our 2. He's got 7. Very active. So it really got mostly activities that we were doing and what could we do with the K-Kids. And yeah, COVID has been a huge challenge for everybody.
Well, thanks, Don. I think we're going to go and slip over to Linda so that we can at least hear from her before we get to 8 o'clock. We can go beyond 8 o'clock. And just, I don't want to impinge on your time, but go ahead, Linda.
Thank you, Jim. Well, I was really lucky because in my group, all of the participants that we had, all of their K-Kids are actually meeting in person. So that makes a big difference. Some of the challenges that we have find is that we have K-Kids groups ranging from like about 20 to about 60. And how do you manage, can two people manage a group of 60? And so we had several suggestions as far as, some very unique ones, as far as getting, your club members to come and join the group. So you have at least, you're supposed to have one to every 10 children, but that just doesn't always happen. So if you can get 2 or 3 of your club members to come and help with those meetings, it's so beneficial. The other thing is that, and it wouldn't be appropriate for this year, but for next year, the Missouri Valley Club, for instance, they actually interviewed, I think it was over 100 students, and selected which ones were going to be members of the K-Kids group. And it's really a different and a pretty cool concept. I think it's going to work very well for them. And this is not saying that the K-Kids group is also going to be working with other clubs within the school, other kids clubs, so they can include them. But the K-Kids are going to kind of be the ones that are going to organize them and get them started. And because there's also leadership opportunities within the K-Kids that they want to implement. We also talked about Janelle, and I'm going to call on you, Janelle, if you may. She's been doing this for quite a while, and she had a couple really good ideas for projects. Would you mind sharing those top 2 that you mentioned, Janelle, with the group?
These are just 2 that we recently completed and will soon be getting started. The one we recently completed, we've done with Matt Talbot for the last probably 2 years. We call it Cold Hands, Warm Hearts, and we collect feet and hand warmers for Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach in Lincoln. We set a goal for 100 hand and foot warmers this year, and we got over 500. Wow. So that's just kind of how our club rolls. We're really good at collecting items for whatever it is. And it's our school. It's not just our club. It's our school that we invite the entire school to participate. So we took those. And the next thing that we're going to start is when we know our finalists for the Super Bowl. I was saying that the K-Kids member that gave us this idea initially is now a sophomore in college, but her idea was to have a Super Bowl challenge, SOUPER. And so we collect items for our local food pantry, and then sometimes we take some items into Lincoln. We're also going to be collecting some cereal and some oatmeal breakfast items for the People's City Mission. So what happens is when students bring in a food item, they get a ticket, and we put posters of the 2 teams that are in the Super Bowl on the wall. When the student brings in the food item, they get the ticket, they write their name on it, they put it in a bucket with the team that they think will win the Super Bowl on it. After the game, the following week, we pull a name from the winning team's bucket, and that individual receives a Super Bowl championship t-shirt of that team. And then the posters are awarded to the second name pulled out of the bucket, and then the name pulled out of the non-winning team's bucket. And that's been a hit. Like I said, this girl's now a sophomore in college, so we've been doing it for a while.
Wow.
And it's a great way
really
for
fun.
the K-Kids student to get their family involved too, and excited about, for interaction about what's going on with K-Kids. I just also want to mention that Jeannie Crank had, I think, a great suggestion as we're looking for, like, if we want a K-Kids club and then we want them to go into Builders Club, to have at the end of the year a meeting where the Builders Club, kind of organizes the meeting and tells the K-Kids about, this is what Builders Club is all about. And we look forward to having you join next year. So we keep that continuation of that SLP program going forward. So those are about the only things that we talked about. Well, we talked about a lot of other things. One thing I did ask my group, and I'm putting Jim Dane on the spot here, but I asked them to forward any ideas for fundraisers or service projects, and that we would make a list of those and get those out to our SLP people, our advisors and our coaches, because I think sharing those ideas is so very, very important. And also and I know Jim has put this out there, there's a ton of information on the website, Kiwanis International. If you just Google Kiwanis K-Kids stuff will come up there for you to utilize.
Yeah, I'll put some links in the chat, and we'll let me grab them, but they'll all I think, hang on. Some of these are links that were shared this afternoon at a special meeting that we had with Lisa Pyron at the district office. So so there some of them are a little specific, but they're just things. But what I guess the point is what Linda just said, you can just go on Google and put in K-Kids and you'll get to the website and just start exploring resources. And I mean, the article that I put in there earlier from Jennifer is in there. There are just many things. There's a PowerPoint presentation on what it's K-Kids that if you were starting a club that you could download and show to school personnel. So it goes the whole gamut of everything.
Jim, could you put your email address in the chat so we can send you our ideas?
Yes, it starts with Linda. No. Okay, I will do that if I can get, hang on. Let me,
We can send it out. We can send it out later. But
yeah,
yeah.
I have a problem. My M key doesn't work. So if you can kind of figure out what I was trying to get at, put an M where you see spaces. I gotta get my computer fixed. So okay,
it's just good to share those ideas, and we can build on that list as we go from year to year too. So
excellent. We're past our 8 o'clock, but we got this room until 8:30, and I suppose if we leaned on Lisa Brokacek, we'd probably be here all night, but she might not be. But anyway, what I wanted to do is, if there are some thoughts about what other forums we should, thank you, Lisa. You know, that these forums are very easy to put together, and we just give a little lead time, and people, you know, apparently have nothing better to do. They show up, but maybe not. You guys are very dedicated. I'm looking for ideas that we could discuss, that we could just maybe focus on 1 or 2 topics. I mean, we can always just focus on service projects and fundraisers, because everybody has what they've done, and some are successful and some are not. We can learn going both ways, but is there other things that we could throw out there? So yeah, I will and my
While
wife.
you're thinking about that, Jim,
Go ahead.
for those that are in Nebraska and Iowa, right now, Camp OK is a go. And so we need your K-Kids to, you know, to come to Camp OK. Those are the kids that will do the camp. And so, you know, if you get in there and do just a simple little presentation, I mean, they're excited about wanting to be selected to go to camp.
Can you give the dates real quick there, Don? I think it's the first full week of June.
I think it is. Takes a while to get from January to June.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
June 5th through the 11th, is that correct?
5th to the,
Yeah.
yes, 5th to the 10th,
10th,
or
okay.
to the 11th.
The 11th is Saturday. Is it Friday or Saturday?
Yeah, so
Friday.
5th to the 10th. So, and if you'll let me know, I will send you a PowerPoint for that one.
Excellent. Excellent. So,
And make sure they know that that's 5th and 6th graders.
5th and 6th, yes.
Yeah, because some of our K kids are 3rd and 4th grade.
yeah, and we have builders club that start 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. So you that's right. So we'll bring it up again tomorrow night or on Thursday night. And there was a good word there, yeah, from Lisa. We can follow up with Survey Monkey on ideas for doing further forums. But if you have something, you can throw it out. I'm also looking if there's something that I can help personally in, you know, answer some questions or provide some guidance, I'm very willing to do that. And you know, and how can an administrator help you do a better job? That's certainly on my mind. So, and before we depart here, I wanted to apologize to Lisa in the Bahamas. Her connection was so scratchy. I'm afraid I cut you off a couple of times, but I do appreciate that you came all the way from the Bahamas. So, Don, do you have something to add?
Yeah, I do, Jim. First of all, I'm the current governor of Nebraska-Iowa, and I wanted to first of all thank Jim for putting this together. You know, the district exists to serve you, and we always feel like we could do more. And there are a minimum of 85 volunteers who have been trained in all areas to assist you and your clubs and your sponsoring clubs in doing whatever it is you need to do. And I encourage you to spend the LaRue monies. Use Jim. As I look at the faces on here, I know many of you do wonderful jobs. I know many of you personally, and I know the kind of great work that you do. And I look forward to meeting all the rest of you personally. And so thank you so much. For our visitors, thank you for being here. I hope we do this again, Jim. This is fun. I enjoyed this. Thank you.
Thank you, Don. And also a special thanks to our out of the district visitors that came, and then Jennifer Lewis, who was our leader. I think she's off already, but Tammy and Kenneth and
Here, thanks.
Lisa. Oh, there you are. I'm sorry.
Yep.
No,
No, it's all good.
no, really. I just trying to read all the pictures, names real quick, but very, very grateful to have you guys aboard, and it certainly helped, you know, shed some ideas on us. So thank you. I am basically done. I'll stay here a little later if anybody wants to keep talking, but I think we have this recorded. We'll send out links and we'll send out a Survey Monkey too to get some ideas. So thank you.